following is a presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Let's go to our man Dave in Clearwater. Hey, Dave, Happy New Year. What's happening, man?
Happy New Year to you, my brother. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. How you been?
I am doing well, man. I'm doing well. Can I throw a quote out at you?
Sure.
In the market, somebody knows something. Someone always knows something. That statement was made by a great trader by the name of Tom O'Brien about 6-7 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
And it kind of hit me like a brick. You're right. Somebody always knows something.
Hey, Carlos, what's going on, brother?
I'm calling you back, Tom. This morning I had the pleasure to talk to you and your son, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to talk to you again.
Well, I think you made some money on this bond.
Oh, yes, Tom. Your newsletter helped me.
That's a beautiful thing. We appreciate you growling and prowling with us out here.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
Okay, folks, this is Larry Pesavento setting in for the master himself. I believe he'll be back on Monday, but we're going to try to entertain you here for the next hour. We're going to start out here by looking at the bond chart. You know, these bonds, whether they're treasuries or treasury notes or corporates or whatever, they much larger market than we have in stock. So this is a market that is huge. And as we've been talking about for quite a while, when we hit that 157 level in the bonds, we've really come off quite a bit. We've come off 6 handles in a matter of 10 days. You can see that we are setting right at the 78% retracement there in the bonds. It's a beautiful ABCD structure on the upside, as you can see. The key here, I believe, that we've talked about earlier in the show when I did my morning show, is that we do have this full moon coming in here on Sunday. We had Norm Winsky on Thursday, and he talked about the importance of that date. And also Bill Meridian from Cycles Research was also talking about the date. Now, it could be a bottom in the stock market. It could be a top. We don't know, because the markets are in total disarray. You've got the NASDAQ looking totally different than the New York Stock Exchange Index, and the Dow looks different than all of them. So it's a real quagmire as how you want to look at it. But we do have a Bradley date coming in on Monday, and since the market is up strong today, I'm assuming that that's going to be a high. But again, the low could have came in a day early today, and we could be looking at an up move, into August the 16th. We'll know more next week, because if the market gives back what it's done today, then your answer is in. We're going down until August the 14th, but that's still neither here nor there. Now, I did want to go through a few charts here of some major stocks that people have an interest in, that dropped me an email to ask to take a look at it. The first one we're going to look at, of course, is the great retailer, Amazon. As you can see, we had a lot of patterns up here in this 995 area. We got up to a little over 4 digits, and then we backed off to 953, and held relatively well. It's still positive. We're up about $10 today. So this stock is still bullish until it takes out the 924 level. If it did that, then the whole game will have changed. But right now, that doesn't look like it's in the cards. Just from looking at it from a technical standpoint. And remember, folks, those of you that haven't heard me before or don't listen into my show, that's early in the morning. All this is technical analysis. I don't know diddly squat about the fundamentals. I don't want to know the fundamentals. All I need to do is to look at the chart, and that tells me what I really need to know. Because if there's more buyers, prices are going to go up. And if there's more sellers, prices are going to go down. Okay, let's take a look at the stock of Mr. Musk, Elon Musk's stock, Tesla Motors, and we'll take a quick look at it here. As you can see, we had a tremendous run since February of last year. We went from 141. We hit 385, I believe 385, 386, and then we've had a pretty substantial correction of about 20% here in a matter of a very, very short order. We've left 2 breakaway gaps to the downside, as you can see. But if you look at the pattern structure in Tesla. Look at the beautiful ABCD patterns on the way up ever since election. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. It just went right up to that $380 per share level, and look what it's done. So sometimes the patterns work, sometimes they don't. But right now, we have a couple of gaps here in Tesla on the downside. We still have a few on the upside, but we will want to be watching, what it does, because it's now a weaker than market stock. Something has happened with Tesla, folks. I don't know what it is, but some major selling come in. I don't know where it came from, who did it, but someone was willing to pop it pretty hard. And not only that, they sold it all the way down. That's not a good sign. Look at Amazon, totally different. Amazon would get support every $30 or $40. That did not happen with Tesla. That tells you that the market is extremely weak, and that's another one that you want to be watching. What I would do if you traded Tesla, and believe me, I don't, I would watch for a 38.2% retracement back to see if it gets any higher than that, because if that's all it'll do, you're going to be looking at Tesla trading at around 250 without any trouble at all. And the reason why I say that is the way that it broke away from that level of 387 and a 50% drop in that stock. And that could easily happen because this is definitely a high flyer. You could easily get that stock down to 250 without even, or lower, without even, batting an eye. So those are a couple of them that we're watching relatively closely, and we want to do a few more here as we go through today. Now we want to look at Mr. Zuckerberg's company, Facebook, and you'll see here this has been a stronger than market stock. We've had higher bottoms, higher tops, still holding its own. We did have an ABCD at the high back on June 19th, which we believe was the high in the market for at least for the foreseeable future into August 14th, but we'll have to wait and see. But you'll notice that the Facebook made a beautiful ABCD pattern up here at this 156, gave back very, very small amount, 5% over a 6 or 7 day period, much like it did during the first 2 weeks in May, and it went back right up again. There's nothing bearish about these stocks with the exception of Tesla, folks. They still look relatively strong, but that can change, very, very quickly. It doesn't take long for these to change with the breakaway gaps and stuff that we see. Now we want to take a look at we already did Amazon. Let's get that out of the way here. And now we'll take a look here, I believe, at Netflix. By the way, folks, if you folks like the theory of the pyramids, on Netflix there's a series, four segments, and it's called The Pyramid Code. And I've already seen them twice. Fabulous stuff. I mean, it's just all about astrology, and it's really interesting. And, it's very, very interesting. Anyway, it's called The Pyramid Code, and it's on Netflix. And we're going to take a quick look here at Netflix. Netflix looks a lot different here because you notice here yesterday we had made a perfect 78%. Oh, we got to pay a few bills. Larry Pesavento setting in for Tom O'Brien. Give me a call, 877-927-6644.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Tom takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, folks, we're back. This is Larry Pesavento setting in for the master himself, Tom O'Brien. We're going to take a look here at a much weaker than market stock known as Apple. And as you can see here from this chart, we topped back on May the 15th. We broke 10% from that level. We got all the way down to 142. We were able to rally up to the 147 level, which was just a little above the 382% retracement, and then came down and tested that 142 level. Again, folks, if we get below 142 one more time, this stock is going to go to at least 132, because the ABCD structure from 156 down to 142 up to 147 takes you to 136. So that's what that ABC would do. Now, this is a weaker market stock right now. This could change, of course, and you'd be able to see it very, very easy if you did the work on the Apple chart. Just look at the ABCD structure and you can see it. Remember, the ABCs only work about 60% of the time, and the other percent of the time they're either expanding or contracting in that CD leg. And sometimes by looking at the gaps and the wide ranges, it'll give you an idea of whether it's going to expand or not. But we'll keep that for another day. Now, this was a big Astro day, as we mentioned before. We've had some pretty good moves, of course, in some of these things. I frankly believe, and this is my opinion, and of course, opinions are like armpits. Everybody has one, and it usually smells. So I believe that we're getting ready for a small dead cat bounce in both Treasury notes and Treasury bonds. I happen to be watching the shenanigans coming out of Germany this morning, and I was looking at the Bloomberg and CNBC, and I was noticing that everybody on there, is looking for higher interest rates, and that bonds and notes have no friends at all. So a small rally would not be unexpected. It might not happen, but it certainly wouldn't be unexpected, and that would be a selling rally if you get it. So watch the notes and bonds, because if you get a 382 rally in that market, which would be about 2 points in the bonds and about 1 point in the notes, I think that would be a pretty good selling. Regarding what's happening in Germany, folks, I have to tell you an interesting story. My dad's brother, Paul, was a staff sergeant for George Patton. He was with Patton all through North Africa, all through Italy, and all through Europe. And when they were in Italy, after they had landed from North Africa, they got into a little town just north of Naples, and the people in the city, which was in a circular format with a big fountain in the middle, had blocked it. They didn't want to let the tanks or the troops through, and they were, rioting, just, causing a lot of problems. Patton sent one of his men up on top of one of the buildings adjacent to the fountain with a 50 caliber BAR, Browning automatic rifle, and told him, he said, take out the rifle. He said, he said, take out the fountain. He said, don't kill anybody, just take out the fountain. And he fired that BAR, and that courtyard was empty in a matter of about 3 or 4 minutes. So that's how he handled the crowds. And I think they should do, I don't want to see anybody killed, but to see what those young people are doing over there, they have the right to protest, but not to tear things up and burn it up and stuff. But I never did any of that stuff. I was a flat out choir boy compared to these folks. But hate to see it, but that's the way it is. There's no difference here. They're here, there. Everybody's going to complain about something. Okay, let's get back to the markets. I'll get off my soapbox. All right, we want to take a quick look at one other one here that's getting ready to make a big flying Melinda to the downside, and that is the gold market, folks. Let's just take a look at this on a long-term basis. We talked about this on the show this morning. Once it was breaking that 1215 level, that it was on its way down. We got down to 1207. The ABC structure on this weekly chart, the 61% retracement will take you down to about 1192. So you want to watch 1192 possibly as a potential coming in, and with the full moon that we have, and the gold works very well off the full moon because they're the same color. But anyway, I think that's the reason. But that could be a pretty good bounce in gold. Now, I don't know if that's going to be a major bottom or not, but we should get some type of a bounce in a market that is incredibly oversold. The real problem, folks, is in that silver market. That silver market just literally just got massacred. I don't know if you realize this, but shucks, I took that chart out, didn't I? Oh. Shut the front door and raise the rent. I don't have it. But anyway, take a look at that. And that is, corn is also affected by, but the corn, anything that's related to growing is related to the full moons and new moons. And the way that you can just prove it to yourself just by watching those 14-day cycles. But if you get Dr. Andrew Lowe's book, The Evolution of Technical Analysis, the first 50 pages in there, he goes back and shows how the Babylonians and the Sumerians and all other cultures had, did their planning and harvesting and production stuff by looking at the full moons and new moons, and they do work pretty well, usually within one day, but sometimes they don't. But that one happens to be related to the growing season. Also, Mercury is heavily involved with the growing season, and that's another one that the Sumerians and the Babylonians also looked at. These are on clay tablets, and he has pictures of these clay tablets in his book, which is it's really quite cool. But he's doing a lot of work in astrology these days, and the reason why I know it is I know the person that sold him the Astro program. He actually sold him several of them, and they're doing a lot of research looking at astrology. In fact, folks, what I had, my bucket list, I got a few things left to do, and one of my things on the bucket list is I would like to be able to see sometime in the next, whenever millennium I'm going to be here, is CNBC. It will be CNBC. It won't be Bloomberg. Would have a little segment of about 15 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes on astrology. Have guys like, Bill Meridian, Norm Winsky, Alfie Lavoie, so many of these really smart guys. They would come on and, give their ideas and research and stuff like that. Because it's there. But the problem is it's elusive, and believe me, I know elusive, but when it works, boy oh boy, it's really, really cool. But see yes, I've seen several solar eclipses in person. We had one here in Tucson about 20 years ago, right over the city. It was a spot, I don't remember I think it was 94 or 95, Danny, is that we had it, and I saw another one in Europe a few years ago. And one other one, where did I say? It was in Asia. So there's been 3 of them over the past 25 years that I've seen that are pretty cool. But they're so fast, and you have to have a special glasses, or you have to use that little pin where you put a pin in the piece of paper and hold it up to another piece of paper, and you can actually see the movement of the sun across the moon. Anyway, or the moon across the sun. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but we'll get on to that later. It's pretty cool. This one is right through the ecliptic of the United States, as Bill Meridian pointed out. And from what I understand, just about anything in its path has been booked. All the hotels have already been booked all through Oregon and Idaho, Montana, wherever it's going. There's all kinds of places that have already booked, fully booked, and they're getting really high prices on some of these things. So we'll watch this relatively closely. Now, we had a couple of markets that turned, I believe, this week. Oh, we got to take a break already? Wow. 877-927-6648.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, this is Larry Pesavento setting in for Tom O'Brien. And I just wanted to get into one of our foreign exchange markets here. I posted the chart for the British pound. This is from the newsletter. Those of you that get the 24/7 newsletter, you'll see that we got right up into the wheelhouse of that corrections that we were looking to see the resistance come in. It was right at the 130.70 level, and it immediately backed off more than 100 pips and is closing near the lower part of the day. At least it was earlier in the day, but that should be some pretty good spot for a short sale up in that area. And as you can see, we took out the highs of May, and if it just does that and reverses, that's nothing different than what it did back in September when it took out the highs of July. So just because it takes out, and this is a weekly chart, folks, so this is a pretty long-term chart. This is a very substantial pattern that we have going on here in the British pound. We have the same thing happening in the euro too. If we take a quick look at the euro, this is the one that we've been up to this 114.45 level 3 times here recently. And then if you go back to the high in August, we got up to 116, and we tried it again at 115, and we tried it again at 114. Possibly 114.45. Now, if we get above 114.45, that's going to mean a great deal. But today, we got above it for just a little bit, and then the market sold off about 80 pips. It's still trading right near the 114 level, so it doesn't really mean much. But coming in Monday will be a very interesting time to look at it, because if we can clear that 115 level, that tells us that we're most probably going to be going up into that area of about 118.50 to 119 in the euro. That would put they put a stake through the heart of the dollar index, folks, because you'll notice here on the dollar index. Now this chart is not up to date because I don't trade the dollar index. I only look at it about every 2 or 3 days. This is a weekly chart, and as you can see, right around this 94.75 level, we have some really strong support coming in, because you have an ABCD structure coming in at that point. You have a 78% retracement from the low back in April of 2016. And remember, this is a weekly chart. And then third, you have a 382 retracement going back to 2014, when a man from Clearwater, California, there at 601 Cleveland, said King Dollar, and sure enough, it had cause, and the cause was to go up. So this is still a long-term bull market, and if you'll notice those 2 really thick red lines on the chart, you'll see those from the highs and lows between November and May of 2016. This is exactly what's been happening between January and where we are right now. These are nothing more than 6-month corrections coming in at a very important price. Now, we held the 61% retracement for well over 3.5 weeks, but we couldn't get out of its own way. And that's when the market, once it went below the 96.50 level, told us that the euro was going to go higher, because the euro is, basically 50%, 53% of the U.S. dollar index. But this will change this weekend when I update these things just to see what they're doing, because it'll be really interesting. Now, we've had a couple of questions about the grain markets. Folks, the grain markets are in weather markets, and I will do the update, of course, for the 24/7 folks on Saturday morning. That's when I do my my updated commodities, and then on Sunday morning, real early, I get up and I do the stock market and the rest of the markets, the crude oil and all those things. But we're looking at some real bearishness in the metals. I mean, gold, silver, and platinum, they don't have any friends. That doesn't mean they can't have some friends pretty soon, but right now they don't have any friends. And remember, when we were looking at that XAU, this was about 2 weeks ago, the XAU was really telegraphing that nobody wanted to buy the gold and silver. And that's exactly what happened. It just kept, drifting lower, and that's what's happened. We're seeing the same thing in crude oil, folks. We had a pretty good spot crude oil today. We hit the 61% retracement of the last low. That came in right around 44.10, and I think we're going to close around 44.30 or something, 44.25. So it had a dead cat bounce, and that's all it was a dead cat bounce. So we've got some real wild stuff, and we've got this lunar thing coming in on Sunday. Now, I don't know if the effect is started today or whether it starts Sunday or Monday, but it's going to still be really wild here for these next few days. Norm Winsky, really highlighted that yesterday when he was on the air with me on his spot. And then on Wednesday, Bill Meridian said pretty much the same thing, that we're over this really strong cycle stuff. So we'll have to be, really prepared for it, because this is either a really strong move for just starting the move, or this is just a 1 or 2 day rally, and we're going to go back down again, much like we have over the past, several weeks, because we topped on, June 19th. That was the big, topping date. And if that's all it's got, then, that doesn't look good for long term. I mean, that's the bottom line of watching these things. So it's going to be interesting. Be sure to don't lose any sleep on Sunday night, because you want to be well rested on Monday for the trading. Of course, if you trade Sunday night like I do, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. But I don't stay up all the time. I just get up a lot to make sure that everything is okay in the neighborhood, and then I go right back to sleep. Okay, now let's move on to a question someone had about Apple. The question is, just because Apple dropped 10%, why am I bearish? I didn't say I was bearish on Apple. All I said was it's not rallying very much. And if it goes below 142 now, after, that dead cat bounce it had to 147, that is going to be very, very negative, and that's going to set up an ABCD structure in Apple down to the 136 level. You can do the work yourself, folks. You just go, take the high 157, go down to, to the 142. You had 142 and 147 together. That would be a 189, and you subtract the 157 from it, bada bing, bada boom, you're looking at about 136. So that's what I would think you'd be looking at in Apple if we break that 42 level. Remember, the NASDAQ, when it came down really hard. Remember that. We had several days where the NASDAQ was down, over 200 points. And these were the leaders of the pack. And believe me, they're very, very high priced. We haven't seen prices, quad digits on some of these prices. And we've seen that now in, Apple certainly would have been that if it weren't for the split. But Amazon and Google, they're all into the quads. Of course, Priceline is it's in Obi-Wan Kenobi land. But these markets are having some pretty wild swings, and they can move very, very dramatically. And they don't need a whole lot of news to make them do that. I mean, they can do this all on their own without any trouble at all. So just be nimble, and be quick. So that's the main. That ought to be some type of a nursery rhyme, I would think. Maybe not. Okay, I think we got a break here coming up in just a second. I believe, I don't know how it works with Tom, but someone's asking a question about Google, and I'll talk about Google right after the break.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
With over $56 million in cash and over $66 million in working capital, Great Panther Silver is positioned as a company with a solid foundation and poised for growth. While completely unhedged to the price of silver, Great Panther retains 100% ownership in 2 producing mines in Mexico, which is the top silver producing country in the world, along with future potential production in Peru. Great Panther is highly leveraged to the price of silver, and after a great year of performance in 2016, Great Panther Silver has a strong outlook for 2017 as well. With good liquidity in trading and strong fundamentals on the balance sheet, while remaining completely unhedged to the price of gold and silver, now is a perfect time to take a closer look at this equity. If you'd like to find out more about Great Panther Silver, then go to greatpanther.com or check them out on the NYSE market, symbol GPL, or the TSX, symbol GPR. The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tom takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Tom O'Brien.
Okay, folks, this is Larry Pesavento setting in for Tom O'Brien. We're going to take a quick look at Google. By the way, folks, I believe Google and Amazon deserve everything they get. Those are fantastic companies. My gosh, I don't even have to go to the library anymore. I mean, it's just amazing what Google can do. But if you'll look at Google here on the long-term chart going back the last 2.5 years, you can see we bottomed in January of 2015. We made an ABCD structure into June of 2016. That measured to 970. The high on the stock was, I believe, 986 or something like that. So that was certainly completed that ABCD pattern. But it trades very well, and it's Amazon and Google to me are they're first-class company. I don't know how Amazon does it. I mean, I do everything. I don't do much, but when I order something, they ship it to me. If I don't like it, they give me a label. I ship it back. I don't have to pay the postage. I mean, what a deal. I mean, why didn't somebody else think of that? Wait a minute. I did, and I told Bezos, and he ran with it. This is a good idea. And if you believe that, I still have 2 shares of the Brooklyn Bridge here. Now, we've got a few minutes left. I'm going to give you my 2 cents worth of what I think is happening, okay? Here's scenario 1. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average with the Bradley model showing the July 8th Bradley date. The full moon, of course, is on the 9th. We either made a major bottom here today, and we're on our way up into August 14th, or scenario 2 is you do the inverted model of the Bradley Index, and you print it out here and take a quick look at it, and you'll see that what we're doing now is just completing some more of a rally into that same pot. And this one looks the most viable to me because this market has been going up during June, and it pretty much had a bias during that time. But now we're coming into this spot that's going to be real interesting here on Monday or Tuesday. So that's the key what I'm watching. Now, I watch one particular market that I watch, and that's the one that's the scariest of all. Well, I watch a lot of them, but the NASDAQ has got the most interesting pattern that I've seen in a long time. But I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to defy human nature and make you do the work yourself. All you have to do is to do a 4-hour chart on the NASDAQ 100. That's the NQ. Just do a 4-hour chart and look at that over the last 2 weeks. And then I think you'll be able to see what I'm seeing. Hey, I might be seeing it wrong, but that's what I'm seeing. I don't want to bias you or anything, but take a look at that one. That looks really, really interesting to me as far as what I think is actually happening. And remember what I'm looking at. And what I think I see and what I see is totally different, and that's an important thing to remember. But most of the time I see these patterns pretty well, but there are times, of course, where they get another one. Now we do have one market that is screaming. This is still a bull market, and I'm going to bring this one up to you right now, so you can take a look at it. And that is the Dow Jones Transportation. This is no, it's not 3 drives to a bottom gator. Hold it just a second, Terry. I'll answer that question. Let's just put this up here. You can see the Dow Jones Transport's up really big today, making another new high. Whether that's going to be another high like we made back in February or not, we really don't know. I don't trade this, but it's one of the things to look at. Okay, the reason why my justification for flipping the model is this, Terry, and that is I'm looking at the patterns and I'm looking at the key date. And yes, it is a Gartley. That's correct, Marshall. You got the. There's other things there, though. Watch it closely because it's really important. Now, if you take a quick look at that, I don't want to get into that now. Just do the work yourself on the NASDAQ. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but just do the work yourself. I think you'll be just fine. Anyway, the question that Terry's asking, what's my justification for flipping the model? The only reason is that you'd like to see the model moving strongly into that date. And that's what we had to have today for the market to move strongly up. If the market was really strongly down today, no question that would have been a bottom, because we didn't come down hard enough for a really significant bottom in the Dow Jones or any of the others. So those are the things that make me believe. And believe me, we're going to know by Tuesday at the very latest whether it's right or not. That's the bottom line. So we live in interesting times, as the old Chinese curse says, but that's why I'm looking at that. And believe me, the Bradley model has some really limitations, and one is, it does pretty good over a year. You look at it, it did a pretty good job. If you look at it over a 4 or 5 week period, some of those periods are just absolutely spot on. But the real key to it are the Bradley dates. Those are those astro dates, and those are when you see these turns coming. It's really really important, and we've got a really really big one. This is it. We're looking at the one coming in on Sunday, Monday. So. We get follow through on Monday big time, we're probably going to go up and make new highs. And the transportation, if it's any indicator at all, and a lot of people, the old timers like Richard Russell, they lived and died by that transportation index, because the transportation index is saying that the people that are ordering stuff and delivering it are, paying their bills and products are going out. So that's why it's going on. So we'll see. Anyway, we'll be able to see. Yes, you're right. The NASDAQ could have made a pretty good bottom down there at that 55, 58 level. We've rallied over 100 points in one day, so we'll see. But then we'll see from that level, we'll see what's going to be, what you're looking at. You're absolutely right, Mr. Z. You win the prize. That's it. Okay, let's move on to one other question someone asked is about the grain markets. Folks, there's no question that we're in a weather market. Corn has been acting the least bullish. Wheat had led the market up. It's been taken over by the November soybean contract now. Meal is leading the way. Oil is lagging. So we're seeing a bifurcation of those markets. I love that word. I got that word from Basil Chapman. But we're going to cover all these grains in the weekly newsletter, because there's a lot of things happening. And with this full moon coming in here, it's even going to be even more exciting to look at as we look at some of these grains over the weekend, because big swings. I mean, see beans swing 20, 30 cents a day. We had a dollar a bushel move in wheat this week. That's 5 large, folks. That's $5,000. That's a big move. So there are some big moves coming, and there'll be big moves in other things too. And but the thing to take home is the fact that we are in a higher interest rate environment. We're due for a little bounce here in the bond and note market, and that's all it is. It's just going to be a little bit of a bounce, and then we're going to be looking, at higher rates. So those are some of the things that I think are really important to to pay attention to, over the weekend. But we got this big Astro stuff coming in on Sunday, so that'll be fun, just to see, what's going on with it. That's for sure. Okay, now the next thing I want to do here is I think there's a break coming up. I'm not sure. Maybe it's wrong, but I'll just keep talking here. One other question that I forgot to write it down. Oh, shucks. Oh, all right. We'll take a little break. 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, we're back, and we've got a few minutes to go here. Just wanted to wrap up. Main thing to talk about is we've got this big date coming in with this full moon. And, maybe nothing happens at all. I'm not sure. I will tell you this. In November of 1989, I was doing my newsletter, Astro Cycles, and I had one of the big, and I had been on fire. I had 3 years there where I was just absolutely nearly impeccable. And I had said something in the newsletter this is exactly what I said. If this happens in 1989 in November, that this is not on every page, or every major paper in the world, I will give everybody a free subscription to Astro Cycles. And the market did absolutely nothing on that day. and yet it was one of the most biggest things of the decade. You want to guess what it was? It was November the 9th, 1989. And it was the fall of the Berlin Wall. We had major outer planets all lined up in retrograde motion, and that was the big event. It was the end of capitalism. And whoa, back it up, cowboy. It was the end of socialism, and capitalism still alive and well, I believe. But anyway, just because these dates come and go, maybe they don't mean anything. I don't know. That's why the patterns have to be, where you want to be. That's the main thing. I got. You're right. I got to get back on that school bus, and I will be, be able to answer the. You guys make me laugh too hard. Anyway, that's what you have to do, is to, let the patterns decide whether you're interested, because, the timing of the thing is the most difficult, the astrology part, folks. It really is. So it's just be really careful with it. And I try to be. I use as little as possible of the things that I can understand, which are the full moons, the new moons, Mercury, and a few of those things. The Bradley thing, that's really what I look at. But the patterns will get you to the promised land. But I don't like Fridays, Mr. Z. I like TGIS. Thank God it's Sunday, because that's when the trading starts. I actually get a little bored on Friday night and Saturday. So I'm looking forward to Sunday night, sneaking up like it always does. But it'll be a lot of fun. We'll have our leader back, I believe, next week, and we'll have a full complement of everybody in TFNN family. And any other questions that we have, here, don't see. There's too much going on, but we'll go from there to see what's going on. Remember, I don't know the future. I really don't. We'll just have to wait and see, what it'll bring on Sunday night. But I always send my charts out Sunday night, to show you what's going on Sunday night, so you can start to get ready, for Monday. And it gives you a pretty good idea sometimes of what kind of day, it's really going to be. So those are the main things, to keep in mind. And then we'll go from that level. I don't have anything else to say, and I'm out of things to post. Let me see if I can find something that I haven't posted yet. Oh, here's one. This Canadian dollar, we've been watching this for a long time, and it's still down in this area, folks. I'll just put this up here and take a look at it. Yes, I'm still bearish. I'm bearish anything that's stock market related, folks. This market has got some real problems. It's been rolling over. The new highs to new lows is a problem. And the complacency, the fact that the VIX index, no one cares. That's the big thing. And now we're looking at this big event coming in. So we're going to find out this next week. If we're down hard next week, we're going down really hard into August 14th, and it could end in one of those things that starts with the P and ends with the C. Whether that happens or not, I don't know, but that'll be 55 days from the top of the market, which was June 19th. Have a wonderful day, a weekend. Live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
This is TFNN.